Spirit Switchboard, airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3, New Orleans.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Spirit Switchboard. I am Kerrilynn Shellhorn, and I am joined today by my sister, Kristy. She's joining me today. So we are broadcasting live from the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Network, 105.3 and 107.7. So I am really excited about doing this today and this is episode 1. This is going to be kind of a get to know me for those of you that are new to me. Those of you that have been following me for a while. Hi, Denise. Yes, those of you have been following me for a while. Thank you for the love and support. I had my daughter kind of helping me out with a lot of stuff this week. And she kept saying, if your first broadcast is supposed to be about you and people are getting to know you, she said, just call it like an origin story.
Hi, Maya.
Hi, Miss Maya. So that was what that was what the intention was. We're going to call it the Kerrilynn origin story. So this is really about understanding, my background. Hi, Heather. And how I got started, how things came to be. Hi, Colleen. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Susan. This is so great. Hi, Kim. So I wanted to share, we grew up outside of Sault Ste. Marie. Thank you, Denise. We grew up outside of Sault Ste. Marie, down the line, right?
Yes.
We call it down the line. So Laird Township is essentially, we kind of grew up in the boonies.
A half hour from anywhere.
Mm-hmm. So, Laird Township, Deborah address, Echo Bay phone number.
High school had 500 children.
Yeah. But we moved when I was 5. Kristy wasn't around yet. She was not even a thought at that point. So we moved into a house when we were 5 that my parents built beside our grandparents. And
on 110-acre land.
Yeah. It was great. It was a great way to grow up. But moving into that house and spending so much time with my grandparents and at their original farmhouse is where things really started for me. And it was this tiny, it felt big when we were small, mm-hmm. But it was this tiny little farmhouse, and you would go up the stairs to where the bathroom is. And I would see who I didn't really necessarily understand at the time was my great-grandfather kind of standing at the top of the stairs. Did you get the heebie-jeebies upstairs?
Yeah, that's why I used to slide down on my butt on the stairs to get down faster.
Right? Hi, Bob. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us. Right. So, you could feel all of that hanging out. And really, it was like family and ancestors, but unaware of that at the time.
It was old land too.
Old land, the land definitely. And growing up in that area in northern Ontario. Hi, Nancy. Growing up in northern Ontario, we have all of those. Hi, Lisa. We have those stories of UFO sightings, Sasquatch. Mm-hmm. You've got a creepy red eye.
Creepy red eyes.
You want to share it?
In our bedroom?
Yeah.
Oh. We used to share a bedroom.
A bed.
And a bed.
Actually. And a bed.
Were we poor? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there was that. But we had bunk beds. And you would just slide into bed with me all the time anyway. And trying to sleep in a single bunk bed with a turtler. She was small. And then, yeah. So anyway, we ended up upgrading to a queen bed. Queen waterbed. I don't know if that makes it sound creepier. Just a little creepier, but that's what we did. And yeah.
I didn't like going to bed without you. I didn't like being without you when it was bedtime.
Yeah.
But there was something definitely there.
Yeah.
With red eyes. Mid-level in the closet.
Yeah. I think all that stuff was land attached though.
Probably.
Like where we were
there
living.
Was arrowheads found
Mm-hmm.
on the land and snake oil bottles from the gypsies as well.
Mm-hmm. That my dad found.
Mm-hmm.
My dad found all those.
Still too.
Shush up! How did I not know that?
I don't know.
You're the favorite.
I probably stole it.
Really?
I don't know how I got it.
Oh, that's crazy. I want to see it. I didn't know that you had that.
It came from the house that we grew up in.
Yeah.
I used it as a
I knew there was Oh, that's interesting. I knew there was arrowheads. Like I know that the land itself has all of that history to it, and my brother having his own experiences and me having experiences and you having experiences is really where a lot of things started. And that obsession for me, my intention for Spirit Switchboard really is about connecting you, all of you, through my obsessions to the people, places, and things that make what feels extraordinary ordinary. Having these conversations about things that feel outside of the box, but they're not necessarily outside of the box for some of us. For some of us, those experiences are very, very real, and bringing those conversations to the forefront and making it more common.
And she's dragging me along.
And I'm dragging my sister along, which, yeah. I mean, you've been so gracious. Like, I know that it scares you. It's not something that you really, I see, hear, feel, taste, and smell. That's how sensory-wise information comes in for me when I'm working as a medium. And that developed more, especially after I had my children. So having those experiences as a kid and as a teen, I had a friend that I went to high school with. Her father passed away during high school, and he came through even at his funeral. Like it's not something that really went away, but as a kid, and you don't really have an outlet or people to talk to, you tend to shove it right into this spot until you feel maybe that you can't shove it down anymore, and you have to. And for me, that experience really was when I had my kids. So my kids were having experiences as well too. So that coming out of the paranormal closet really happened when my kids were small, and being able to support them in their journey and being intuitive as well too. I mean, they're grown up children now, they're adults, but not necessarily wanting this to be their profession, right? They all have different directions that they're taking, but understanding who they are at their core and their heritage is being intuitive and open. Not that you don't want to.
Well, with being with you, I'm getting less afraid.
Oh,
like
see, that's the point. That's the point.
When the kids were little and Maya would say, I saw a ball of light last night, I'd be like, no, you didn't. You did not. Mm-hmm. So, and we would just pretend it didn't happen. And now we explore it a little bit more.
Pretending things doesn't happen, you bottle it up, and then eventually you get physically sick.
Yeah, I have crippling anxiety.
That's not funny.
Yeah, no.
Sad, really. But you've allowed me to kind of pull you down the rabbit hole and go on investigations, which is fun.
Yes. However, it might have been you that started my fear.
You're in for,
because you read me all of Stephen King books. We're 7 years apart. You're 16 reading, an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, it. However, you did follow it up sometimes with the Bible.
See, it's all about balance.
And closing the door to evil to something else.
Right.
So.
And the Bible that I got for perfect attendance at Sunday school. Thank you, Shirley McKay.
Right. I got ribbon candy. So.
It really did. That whole fascination started with experiences that we were having on the property growing up. My love for all things horror as well too, and creepy and supernatural, and reading things like Stephen King. And then it just didn't go away. Mothman, all of those things are things that I want to explore. And Sasquatch.
Growing up in rural Ontario, even on our property, it always felt like there was nobody else around, but lock your doors. Like, it was creepy. You felt like there was something there.
There was stuff going on for sure. And attached to land. So, in my sense of wonder and possibilities and connecting with the other side in the way that I can and do, I want to drag you along for the ride. So thanks for being here.
Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up. Because it's like being with this girl on Red Bull once I get going as well too.
Yeah. For sure.
And really, I say that the start was because, like, for helping my kids, and that's where all of that started. It started with parenting, or having parenting classes to support people who had children who were having experiences as well too, so we could have an open conversation. For me, it's about having an open conversation about things that are outside of the box. Tucking it away and not talking about things is just never a good idea.
I concur.
Do you remember messaging me when you heard the plane?
Yes.
Do you want to share that? Because there was a little girl voice too, right?
I used to get little girl voices, mom, all the time, mom. But the plane was in between, like, just starting to fall asleep. And I was driving in my car and I was thinking about it, going for my coffee, and I messaged you that the night before I had heard like a plane crash, and all I could hear was like, brr, 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 like you mumbling, and a plane going down. I assumed it was plane, but the next day I woke up and it was Remembrance Day, so didn't have any correlation. I didn't even think about it, but messaged you that this is odd.
Yeah, you tend to get natural disasters and plane crashes and
mom.
Yeah, kid stuff. That's okay. You can have that. That's creepy. What?
No thanks. It was just odd.
Dark-eyed children. We're going to talk about that at some point too.
Dark-eyed girl in the forest. In Michigan, there's been sightings of the dark-eyed girl in the forest.
Yeah, let's explore.
I'd rather explore graves.
We're actually doing, so we do investigations, not a lot, and it's not necessarily, I do it out of, again, wonderment and interest, right? I used to bring people along just to help them develop their intuition as well too, and really push those skills, that muscle, to the forefront. And now, hi Kathy. Now that we're doing the investigations, it's more out of interest for myself. Love history, exploring places, wanting to see how far I can push my own intuitive muscles, right? When I'm doing sessions for people, it just takes me to a certain place and exploring land. Like I've done so many farm reads, like reading the land and farms and understanding what the ancestors that touched that property, how they feel about that growth and development of how farming has changed, right? So drastically. So going to locations, that's my intention. So we have an investigation coming up, and so you'll come back on.
I like this one. I like that there's history.
Yeah, we're not going to say what it is just yet, right? But you'll come back on and we can talk about it. And the really, I don't. So the catch is, and I don't know why I'm whispering, because it's not like Mom's paying attention.
No.
I know. So our mom might be coming down to visit, and if she does, we're dragging her on the investigation with us.
I'll be in the middle. We'll put Mom first. Mom can go first. You got my back, Mom. Mom can be up front.
So my sister will come back on at another point in time, and we can talk about the investigation and what it was like to bring our mom on one.
Should be interesting.
Do you feel that what we bring to an investigation can influence an investigation, influence the energy in the space as well too?
Yes.
So yeah, that will be fascinating.
Sugar. I'm gonna have to really zen myself out. It's all good. It's all good. Not scary.
It's about intention too. What your intention is and what you're bringing. I think that plays a big part. And if our intention, and we set that intention when we go into a place and saying that, we're there out of curiosity and to understand and introduce ourselves and treat them as if they were people, which they were, right? Living people. Oh, hello, my name is just here to hang out.
Yes. I'd rather do that at like a farmhouse than an insane asylum.
Well, yeah. Though I really would love to take you somewhere like that.
No. Then you see them like crawling backwards, and they're tricky. I feel that they could be tricky.
So do you not feel that at certain farmhouses the land could have its own stuff that's attached to it? So a farmhouse, if there's a spirit hanging out, could be tricky too?
Yes.
Like a red-eyed thing in the closet?
That's true.
Right?
That's true. Who knows? Maybe I'd get along more with the people in the insane asylum.
Your anxiety, but you'd probably feel it more physically. Because and that what you're saying isn't the first time either, because people that that I'm my inner circle's pretty small, but people that are in that inner circle have certainly said over time their experiences have increased just from hanging out. Right?
True.
Like the more you hang out. And I think the locations to places. Yeah. One of the things. Yeah, they can be tricky. I agree. Thank you, Denise. We'll eventually let you. I'll let you know. And I've reached out to someone that I can't wait to. I'm hoping to hear back from this person soon, and having them on and talking about stigmatized locations. So locations that may have a haunted history or where there is tragedies, murders, that kind of stuff.
The Scream Tunnel Bridge in Niagara.
Oh, yeah, I've never been.
No.
Did you go?
I've been to the outside of it.
No, I never.
Not to the inside.
We were hanging out, a neighbor and I, on the porch, having a glass of wine, and some random person stopped in front of us and said, I used to live here, and there was somebody that hung themselves in your attic. I had no idea.
That could be the growling.
I mean, that happened when we first moved in, but we haven't had any experiences then. But I again set my intention, like, we can all hang out kumbaya. If you guys want to hang out. I went to Kingston Pen actually, and it was pretty fascinating. I was not there as an investigator for sure, or as a medium. I wasn't there, but definitely I was there. The warden's house across the street I found even more fascinating because it had all of the artifacts and stuff like that. So Susan, I do feel that the more that they're investigated, the more that they can be charged. That's just a personal opinion, like, because everybody investigates different. I personally don't believe that you should be going in and provoking and stuff like that. So, you know, everybody's bringing their own baggage of stuff. Yeah, their own energy and their own intention.
I was curious, Jody. I had intentions to go through the tunnel. I just couldn't. I wasn't ready. And it was nighttime. Maybe if it was during the day, I would have felt more courageous. I didn't that night.
If I was with you, would you? I'm not scared of much.
Probably. Because Mom makes you do protect me.
Mom, I'm bringing Kristy on an investigation. You be careful with her. Are you going to make sure that she's okay? Is she going to be safe? No, I'm going to shove her right freaking in front.
Yeah, right. And then you're there. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I know,
Do
because
you want a snack?
I'm a mom of 4, so snacks are always important. It's just a habit now. Snacks are good.
Yep.
Snacks are part of every investigation.
Kind of snacks.
Sweet and salty.
Yeah.
Though I mean, I suppose if we were really being mindful, it would be like protein snacks and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know.
No.
Sugar charge.
Yep. That's what I had before I came here.
Really?
Peanut butter and brown sugar sandwich.
Oh, right. You told me that. I agree. I find it disrespectful too. And that's always been my thought when they're provoking for reactions, right? And my approach has always been, you're going into their home and I wouldn't act inappropriate going into somebody's space. So really setting the intention in, you know, this is who I am and just want to get to know you and see what happens. And even in places that I feel are intense, I don't necessarily, this last investigation that we did, we got ran at. It does feel cruel, especially if you know that if they were in places like asylums or hospitals, they're compromised people to begin with, right? But I know that you can physically feel when they're intense as well too, right? So like when we were at the investigation and they were running at us, you could feel the last one that we did at the factory. You could feel that energy when they were running at us.
You felt it. I was on the other side.
Laughing.
All I hear is nope, 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 nope.
Yeah.
But it was odd. And it wasn't the same as last time we were there.
No. Oh, Cordelia, I don't like hospital elevators. I would agree with you. I don't get super wigged about the elevators. Do you know what scares me? Actually, what scares me are stairs with no risers. Like stairs that I can see through, graded steps. So, you know, like the metal graded steps that you can see through and no risers.
The basement steps we grew up with.
They're already in their own hell of sorts. No need to make it worse for validation. I agree. I just agree. It just feels wrong. Denise, on the night shift at the psych, we experienced unexplainable things. I'm sure. And, whether those energies that are there also feeding off of the energies that they're feeling from the people that are living too, right? It kind of goes all hand in hand, I think.
That's in our hometown. They turned a psych ward into a condo. That would be interesting.
I remember when they were doing that, I was like, maybe I need to drop my business card off because people are going to, and that happened somewhere else, where a location that was used as a residential hospital was taken down, and a residential neighborhood was built up, and I got called in, though, to help clear some stuff out, because there's definitely some stuff happening. But again, with that question, I always have 1,000 questions. Like, I truly believe that we don't get to know everything. We can't know everything. That's why we have to continue to have a sense of wonderment, and question things. I could go in and say that I've cleared something out, but the very next day, depending on the energy that the people have that are living there, what really the history is, somebody else could go in and still feel that there's spirits there, or more spirits show up. I just think there's so much more that we don't really understand, that there's more to it. No?
Yeah.
Are you just thinking?
If you're not, yeah. Sometimes spirits that aren't attached to the place are there randomly. Why?
So from my experience, if you have, they're looking for that light. So this little light of mine above your head. So if you're extra sensitive, like, or empathic,
follow the light,
for someone to acknowledge them.
No. Okay.
Right? So if they go a little sideways. Oh, Bob is saying the Homewood in Guelph is very haunted. Has been there and got the creeps walking down the hallway in the old section. I have never been inside. So have you been inside?
I get the creeps driving by it.
Oh.
The property is supposed to be beautiful, but I've heard stories. I work in a retirement home as well, and a lot of these older seniors have been in Guelph a long time, and they lived in that area and would have to cross through the Homewood to get to their school. And they would say that they would see things in the window, see people doing weird things in the windows. So I kind of think of that. It's an old property too.
I mean, I just kind of feel people die every day. Every house has to have a story, and every land has to have a story.
Yes,
that's how I look at it. Like, what place wouldn't have a story attached to it?
True. On the way here, there was stories about the catacombs in Paris.
Right.
And that this radio host was talking about how in Paris, you're basically walking over bodies,
yes,
everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I'm all over the place.
Tell me,
ADD.
Whole family of us
having to do tomb sketches.
I think that's fascinating,
and not wanting to walk over them.
Well, I did a Spirits and Sweets event, which is like, I just give gallery messages at a venue that like a bakery and stuff, right? And there was a very tall gentleman to my right, very tall in spirit, and I really go to this other place, right, when I'm working and I'm shooting messages out, and I had closed my eyes and I was rubbing my hands, and I could feel him. It was literally like a bump, and I bumped. Oh, like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm apologizing to them. I couldn't imagine walking around somewhere like the catacombs, because it would be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Some guilt in doing that. But walking around the cemetery, it's the same too, especially where their headstones are knocked over.
Yeah. Oh, I feel bad.
Yeah, when there's nobody caring for them anymore.
There's a museum between Fergus and Elora.
Brenda, the museum.
Chamberlain.
Brenda Chamberlain, yeah. The museum in Aboyne between Fergus and Elora, very haunted. I think I've heard about that. Something to check out, right? Bob, is it true that three things property? Yeah.
Property, objects, people.
That things attached in the property, or things that are brought onto the property, like haunted objects?
Zach Bagans. Haunted museum.
I mean, certainly objects can be haunted, right? For sure. And spirits can attach to objects, and if you're bringing them in the house and not clearing them, then they can wreak havoc for the people here. That is definitely something that I want to talk about on the show as well too. That's on my list of wanting to talk about.
That's why thrift stores stress me out. All the energy left on the objects.
Yeah.
But it's touched and lived with.
Hi, Melissa. So Melissa, always feel sad in cemeteries when people have knocked over the stones. Yeah, I do too. It's about disrespect, right? It's disrespectful. But there are people that go in and repair.
There was a child. That's what he did for free. Would go in and clean the tombstones and make them looking fresh.
Yeah, I would do that. Because I think it's fascinating, especially all the symbols and stuff that are on the headstones.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody that's just joining us, thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us on Spirit Switchboard. I'm Kerrilynn Shellhorn. This is my sister Kristy, and we are. You are listening to us through the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Network, 105.3 and 107.7 New Orleans. So thanks for hanging out with us. This is, my daughter kept calling it the origin story. So just sharing a little bit about me so you can get to know me and where I want to take this, where I want to take the Spirit Switchboard, and connecting you, right? Being able to connect you down the rabbit hole that my brain goes. And
Deep.
It's deep. Because there's so much, and it's really having that sense of play and wonderment about there's just more, and looking at it as a little kid and having these experiences, knowing that there's more. There has to be more. So why can't there be Sasquatch? Why can't there be? And I mean, if the government came out and is agreeing that there's aliens, Sasquatch are next. And I have my own thoughts, and I have actually someone's agreed to be on, which I'm just gonna firm up the date when they will be here. So I'm excited about having that person on to talk about Sasquatch.
My opinions have changed on Sasquatch.
Really?
I don't feel like they're a primate anymore.
Really?
I feel like I feel they look like a primate, but I feel like they are shapeshifters.
I think shapeshifters are a whole separate thing.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Okay.
No, but this is it. Like, let's have a conversation.
So that's why.
Well, I think they're elusive because hairless bipedal creatures suck.
True.
Like, if they were hanging out somewhere and peeking through the trees at people being disrespectful on the land,
Right.
I'd be elusive too. We get elusive just at the idea of going to Walmart where it's people-y.
Yeah.
Hi, Jen. You wish you could bring me to the hometown Avencrest before it was torn down. Original hospital. Oh, well, I'm sure it would be a wonderful spot to investigate. And just because, well, I mean, the land, the energy would still be attached to the land. That was the whole point when I was doing those farm reads. Like, it was really feeling, it's really hard to explain what it's like for me to be me. When I close my eyes in a location, it's kind of like seeing night vision in my head, and then other things pop out like 3D for me. So on doing those property reads, seeing what's there in my head and then what used to be there in my head, and leading me where I'm needing to go to understand what they're trying to show me. What they're happy about, worried about, upset about, how it's changed, if they're liking it or not. So just because things aren't on a location anymore doesn't mean that I can't feel it or what it used to look like. The remote viewing is a whole other ballgame.
How do you disattach from that? Because I feel like I would go in, and if somebody needed help, wanted help, I feel like I'd be like with them forever. Come with me. I can take care of you. What do you need? Like, how do you go, okay, I'm out now? Like,
The same way I parented, like facilitate independence and away you go. Like, So that's a good question, Susan. Susan's asking shapeshifters and skinwalkers the same. That's what I want to know. That's what I deep dive and read into. I don't know if I have an opinion. I need more information. I have thoughts about it, and I have somebody that is going to come on, and it might be 2 episodes. Have a feeling it could actually be 3.
Cool.
Stretched out over time, and talking about skinwalkers, shapeshifters, and
that they've had experiences with Sasquatch. Interesting.
I know. I know.
Even our father believes in Sasquatch.
I know.
And he doesn't believe in anything. So
I know. Our dad had shared a story with me about how in behind where he lives with our stepmom on one of the reservations outside of Sault Ste. Marie, that there was a sighting of a Sasquatch dragging the hind end of a moose behind it. I'm like, oh, sign me up. I'll come home. I'm not in up north, right? I'm in Southern Ontario. So I'll come up. Can someone take me out? And he's like, are you crazy? Do you want to die? Some angry Sasquatch? And I'm like, well, I don't want to die from an angry Sasquatch, but holy, that would be an epic death.
hopefully a quick one.
Wouldn't it be?
It's funny because in that same area,
I'm extra chubby now, chubbier than what I was. Not as big as a moose hind quarter, but maybe, I don't know.
in his area too, they the priest there had seen visions of the dog man.
Dad told you that story?
Yep.
Oh, you're the favorite.
Yeah.
So that is what I would,
and the
skinwalker or
priest,
shapeshifter.
it was a Catholic priest that said, I saw this.
Well, but I don't. Someone's job, I think, doesn't prevent them from being open-minded to things
True.
outside of the box, because some of the sightings outside of the zoo are from police officers.
Yes.
So, yeah, stay open-minded, right? That's the whole direction I want to take Spirit Switchboard, is taking you down those things that take up all the room in my head, that I read about and watch, and I'm curious and want to understand more and have different perspectives. Having somebody come on and educate me where I don't have that education,
or just see another point of view.
for sure. Especially when we're not exposed to it. If we're not having the conversations and we're not exposed to it, we have a very limited view, right? And whatever.
And it's okay to have other views.
Yes, it is very okay to have other views and be open-minded enough to be educated so you can change your opinion about something as well too, right? Which, again, Spirit Switchboard, right? And making something that feels extraordinary, ordinary, like being intuitive, being able to connect to the other side and making that feel normal. Like in our house, it's normal. It's not something extraordinary. And if you were to talk to my kids, they would just tell you that I'm boring.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it's just mom does her
Normal.
job, and then I hang out with the dogs on the couch. And it's just like regular life in anybody else's house. Did you do your homework? Did you make your bed? Can you pick up your stinky socks and shoes, please? Like it's just like regular life. And just using that outside of the box ability.
Except you'll be like, oh, by the way, grandma has a message for you. And it's like, our grandma's dead. So you need to pay attention.
I don't do that often.
No.
Like I try to be super mindful of maintaining those boundaries. And we've had experiences like grandma, when I first came back, I've lived in many different provinces in Canada. So when I had been living in Alberta and came back to Ontario, my kids were 6, 5, and 2-ish, close to 3, something like that. Yeah, my youngest wasn't even around at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was sleeping on the fold-out couch in my mom's living room when we first landed here. And I woke up in the middle of the night. So my grandma, who's the farmhouse that we grew up beside, I used to sleep at her house. We all did. Like we all used to strong
cycle through.
Yes, she never slept alone. She always had us with her, one of us, right? But if you slept in the extra room, if you slept in that spare room, she would wake you up in the morning by shaking your big toe. Mm-hmm. She'd come in and shake your big toe, and she would tell you that she has made your, like, whatever your favorites were for breakfast, then she always made the favorite stuff, right? So she would shake your big toe. So when I separated and I was getting divorced, I brought my children back to Ontario, and I was staying on my mom's folded couch in her living room. It was the middle of the night, and I felt her grab my big toe, my foot raised way up in the air, and it wasn't scary. I just knew it was her. And at the time I understand why she came, because it was such a highly emotional time for me and needing to let me know that she was supporting me, right? But I mean, I did at that time. Thank you so much for being here, Grandma. I need you to not do that. My foot like just dropped. But even like Kyle, like your son, had an experience right after she passed too.
The experiences were ongoing after she passed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I also, like, I sat with her after she had passed for hours, and I remember whispering into her ear, "Come visit me."
So why would you say come visit me if you're freaking scared?
I don't know. I didn't want her to go.
And I wasn't even around. I was in New Brunswick then. Yeah. We were living in New Brunswick.
Yeah. And then there'd be shadows and touching and the bottom of the bed shaking. And my son Kyle, who is 3, said, "Grandma came last night and was touching my face." And I was like, the phone would always ring and you'd answer to static.
Oh, Favorite. You were the favorite. It's because you're a baby.
Yeah.
In our family.
In our
Anyway,
family.
you're the baby. Anyway, I never had the phone.
I had the phone. And
I get feathers from my grandma on my stove, which is weird
how do you know it's from grandma?
because I asked her to do it again.
Oh.
If this is really you, show me one more time so I know for sure. And then it's there. Like, how can you be cooking and then turn around to do something and come back and then there's a feather there? It's not even like, you're close to a living room or a bedroom with a feather pillow.
Dear grandma, show me you're around by $100 bills, please.
So that doesn't work because if you have money issues that you need to learn to figure out,
Yes.
they can't intervene that way.
Yeah.
So you can ask, but it doesn't work.
I get dimes and quarters.
Who do you think that's from?
You know.
Do you know how to ask?
No. I might just collect them and put them in the jar.
Do you say thank you?
No. I was like,
John saying my son is to give so many signs, not so much now. I working as a medium, I see that frequently for people as well too. That at the beginning there's a lot, and then that energy changes and shifts. And I think that from my experience and my observation, different things change, right? You're changing in your experience, and there's growth for them as well too, as a spirit on the other side as well too. It doesn't mean that they're not still with you. It just means different things have shifted and changed. Whether you're needing different people in spirit to pull up close and support you because they have different knowledge that they can impart to support you differently than your kiddo, but they're still always there. And I encourage people to like set a date with them, like
a date with the dead.
Yeah. If you're walking by their picture, like you and me, don't forget Saturday night, gonna hang out, gonna need you to come during dream time Saturday night, and you just keep reminding them all week long, because sometimes if you get really focused that you really need this sign and it needs to be this way, you're creating your own block because you're missing all the subtle ways, because sometimes they're like little kids, right? You paying attention, are you paying attention? It's subtle. So it's usually a non-thinking moments, but setting that date and then try to have a really relaxed day, try maybe do a little meditation, have a glass of water. Water is definitely a conductor, and then set that intention that you see, hear, feel, and connect in a way that you'll remember in the morning and see how it rolls. Sometimes it takes a couple of weeks, but if you do give it a try, let me know. Let me know if you gave it a try. Doesn't matter what the show is that we're talking about, but like get in touch with me and let me know if that supported you. Because I know sometimes that makes you feel disconnected from them when you're not getting it in the same way that those signs as you were before. Melissa, hi Missy. I know it comes up Melissa, and I know to call you Missy. Often find dimes too and keep them in a jar. Seems to stop periodically when it feels I'm on the right path. Yep, totally makes sense. Now, I've seen people do some really cool things with the dimes they find too. Like not just keeping them in a jar. I've seen people put them in a shadow box in the shape of a heart. So they build the heart up with all of the dimes. So it's a way of like feeling them around, and you could or you
I think that's great, but like I just add them to my coffee change for in the morning.
Right. His 1-year anniversary is in 5 weeks. Dawn. Pardon?
Angelversary.
Angelversary.
Hi, Lulu.
Hi, Justin. I adore you. Just so you know, I adore you. Missed you. Hope to see you in person again soon. Susan, I did that with my dad. He loved Clint Eastwood, and I got my Cry Macho. I just saw that movie the other day on DVD and asked him to come watch it with me, and he did. Fabulous, right? Setting a date. And I think that it helps you build the energy up because you're thinking about it, especially if you get into that non-thinking place as well too, right? So, and then it builds up the trust. trust plays a big factor in being able to connect with them on the other side, right? If you're not constantly questioning, you say thanks,
Right.
then they give you more. They give you more as well too.
Maybe that's why I'm not always so open, is because I don't know who they are.
Mm.
Like if we go out on site, I don't know who you are yet, so I don't trust you yet. I need to know who you are.
Right.
Like stranger danger.
So does that comes back to stranger danger? You know what your rules and boundaries are to maneuver through connecting with strangers, right?
Yes.
So you do the same with spirits as well too. Shields up, rubber bubble with slime, your guides, your team, whatever it's going to be for you, and setting that intention that protection is there in moving forward.
Oh, my poor guides.
And
They
then
work
what your
hard.
intention is when you're working and you do your thing, and then clearing all of that off and making sure that intention is set as well too. They're not attaching, they're not allowed to ride home, any of that kind of stuff, and then clearing it all off before you leave a location.
Right.
Understanding it, not just going in all freaking willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
Jen Brown, never thought of that. Thank you. Rarely ask for a sign. I would love to set an intention and visit with my brother. Not sure I would know him in dreams. We did meet on this side. We didn't meet on this side. Okay, so Jen, part of that, this is something I love talking about. Part of that, even if you didn't meet in the physical, there is a vibration that your spirit will recognize, and there's a vibration that you will understand and remember. It is like no different than going into a turkey coma after Thanksgiving or Christmas and half falling asleep on the couch. So you're in that like zone space, but somebody walks in near you, but you know who it is because you remember and you recognize their vibrational. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So same thing. Like people get pretty attached to labels and names, and over here, like them, they don't freaking care. They really don't care. So when you understand how to connect and feel that vibrational level, you'll know and recognize who you're connecting with because of the vibration.
Look at you go. You just know.
Hi, Patty Lynn. It's great to see you too. And I'm glad that you could be here and catch up on some of this. Aw, thanks. See, sisters. They love when we're together.
Never such devoted.
We're devoted.
I know, it's part of the song.
Right. I don't know the whole song like you do though, because I know it's your favorite Christmas movie. You're into Christmas a little bit more than me.
100%.
I think I'd make a pretty good effort.
Yes. I just like lights and sparkle and
Glitter.
nostalgia and being stuck inside and not having to go out. I don't care about gifts.
No, I know you
I
don't care
like the
about
cookies.
I think that's our love language as a family is food. Like cooking. Do you think? What does that look mean? Do we not have a love language?
We do. Food is our love language. It explains so many things.
Self-numbing.
Yes.
You think? Emotional eating?
100%.
So but okay. Yeah. Emotional eating for sure. But I find food also grounds me fast, which I know it's an issue with other people in the Love and Lighter community and how I work. But it does.
It's like too. Like if you go and huff grandma's cookie jar, would you not like feel satiated? In
Well,
a way?
I have grandma's. I have my grandma's Winston Churchill cookie tin, and so grandma was only not a great baker.
No,
I love you, grandma. But she would like burn cookies. So the memory that I have is the burnt oatmeal cookies with coconut.
I'm the ginger snap.
Yeah, ginger snaps. Yeah. So that smell for sure. Smells create a memory and connection for sure.
Connected to food.
Yeah. yeah, I don't know. There's comfort in it for sure.
Mhm.
But like, I love cooking us dinner for Christmas because
Yes,
that brings me joy.
because it was good memories.
Yeah, because of grandma. Like, she
Yes.
always did that for sure. And inviting them to be a part. So we always, I don't know, I kind of do that little silent invite them into the table, invite them to the table, and participate with us for all those meals when we're together as a family.
You dedicate your tree
I know.
to pictures and
It's a family, I call it the family tree at Christmas. And I put old pictures of past Christmases on it.
Polaroids.
Yeah, I have Polaroids. And then I have the new Polaroid camera as well, too. So we have some of the newer ones. Not that I care about things being matchy-matchy.
I do.
I don't think that they care on the other side.
I don't think they care on the other side.
I think they just want us to be happy
Mhm.
and joyful. And they definitely connect. Like when we're in that space, they'll connect.
That's why I find on Christmas Eve I turn on the angel from our grandparents' Christmas tree. And it is, I don't know, I guess it's over 65 years old now, that angel. But I only light it on that night. It's the same light bulb.
Is it really?
Yeah. So,
How's that possible?
I don't know.
I guess if you're only lighting it once.
That's it. I just light it, and I'm scared to keep it plugged in because
Wow.
it's janky. So, but I love it, and it's been broken, and it has old tinsel still stuck to it from her taping the angel together.
I have a picture of her Christmas trees that I put on my Christmas tree that has that angel on it.
Yeah. I like that moment.
I think, like, what other stuff are you hiding down there? You and
her diaries. I have her diaries.
Oh no, I don't think you have the diaries because I had them. The journals.
Yeah. Got those teacups.
Yeah. All that stuff, all those things will have energy attached to them and can bring them in. Like, help bring them in. You could do that too. Add that to your table, your nightstand. If you have a glass of water and you're inviting them in to come in, like on a date. I used to do that too, like for my daughter when she was young. The school that she attended in Sault Ste. Marie, anybody tuning in from the Sault area would know where we're talking about, because it was all surrounded by cemeteries. There was the kids' cemetery, and then the mausoleums. Like it was just, and then there's this elementary school, and she was seeing people in that school all the time, where we had to teach her. Yeah, off of Third.
Yeah.
At the end. It's all great big huge cemeteries.
Well, that cemetery at night, I didn't know this. And
apparently
there's little lights on all of the headstones.
Oh.
So when you drive by, there's like lights on
in this whole big field.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, what the heck?
I didn't know that. Yeah. She was having experiences in the school. So that was what I had taught her then too, was to say that she's just there to be in school and she can't help them now. But if they need, she would bring her mom back and we could connect with them on Saturday. And then we could do whatever we needed to do to help them if they were trying to get her. And most times they just needed to be heard, right? They just needed to be
acknowledged.
Yes, acknowledged, right? And that's the whole thing about why somebody would just show up in a location, is they're looking for that light, right?
Yeah.
So that somebody can pay attention and support them if they're needing support.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just like in spirit, just like hanging out.
Yeah.
Because definitely we have ones that just want to hang out here.
I'm cool to hang around.
Right. So, okay. I'm really glad that you did my first episode with me today. And then you'll come back after we do the investigation. So in a few weeks' time, we'll come back.
Okay.
And so we can let you know if our mom came.
Made it.
if she survived us. So thank you so much to all of you for listening. Thank you for hanging out with us. This hour went by really fast. A big shout out to the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Network. I said that a little too fast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, episode 2, my dear friend Meredith Tollefson from Tupelo, Mississippi is going to be here. She is a animal communicator, and she is the co-director of the Animal Communicator Collective. And I know, super cool. I am excited to have her on. So we will see you next week at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Lots more to come.
Lots more to come.
You've been listening to Spirit Switchboard with host Kerrilynn Shellhorn on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 New Orleans.